when in the Pac-12, you had the one day to turn it around. It was an emotional loss to Oregon, and we challenged the guys just, control the controllables where we have to, be more connected, fight on every possession. It's hard to win. Every possession matters. There were some really good moments. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but able to get I think it was 11-point lead in the first half, 12 in the second half. Again, it's hard to win. I'm so excited that we won because you need a little bit of a spark. You need to see that. But we didn't finish the game the way that we need to. There was still a lot of cleanup to be the team that we want to be. But we fought. We went to the foul line. We made our foul shots. We didn't turn it over. But same thing. Second half team shot 57% from the field. We're you got to have practice time to fix that.
After the game on Thursday, what type of conversations did you guys have as a team? Was that a rallying point at all?
Well, I think the biggest thing, Percy, second half, right? Your defense isn't in front of you; it's your offense. And if you look at our defensive numbers in the first half, like tonight, 33% defense. You're talking. There's more energy when it starts to go on the other side. Utah scores 60 points. Oregon scores 46 tonight. They get 39, but they shot good percentages. We got to communicate better. I think we've simplified defensively what we want to do. Now we just have to do that better. But it's a work in progress. Just got to keep working. We get in stops. Even in the start of the second half, it was they were shooting 70%. They scored the first 7 out of 10 possessions. You got to get stops, and when you're getting stops, and I thought Anthony Holland did a great job during that run. We got stops. We shared it. They were a little difficult. They were switching from man to zone, which kept us off balance a little bit, so it got a little stagnant. But when we moved the ball, we found our shooters for the most part. Guys made some shots, but in the second half, Brooksy he played as good as he's played with the way that he attacked the basket. I was really, really happy with his performance.
He talked about that he took 1,000 free throws between
yesterday. Yeah.
Like this as a team, how much conversation was there, and how much emphasis was it on that? Because tonight you guys were 29.
Well, we want to, you look at some of these games, we were getting, beat in the paint. Today it was 28-22. Like we got to be the aggressors. We can't be pretty jump shooters and just keep shooting jump shots. We got to play with force. We got to go to the basket. We got to put them on their heels. We got to get them in foul trouble. And when you do that, it usually opens up open shots, on the perimeter. We did get into foul trouble. Early guys picked up 2 fouls, 3 fouls, moving guys around. But like in the last couple of games, our bench has been exceptional.
How much of that is an element with Wilhelm Brandon kind of changing it tonight, where he had 11 points, 8 rebounds, really kind of seems to use that extra muscle he's made for you?
He's just a fighter, man. Plays exceptionally hard. Can make threes. Fights. Puts himself in position. Passes. He might not be the biggest guy he's fighting. It's like a light heavyweight fighting heavyweight on some of these guys, but he gets you with intelligence. He gets you with footwork. He gets you with effort. And that's very infectious, and that's what we kind of lost with Frank. So other guys like Anthony Hall and him other guys have to do what? Have to bring that. And both those guys did tonight.
You talked Wednesday before you were leaving about just you needed something to get over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
If we talk to you 2 weeks from now, do you feel like this could be a moment where you guys got over the hump?
I don't think that we played to the level that we have to play to say, walk out of here and go, God, you won by X, and oh man, I feel like we had moments, and I felt like being up 12 in the under 4, was great. And then we did what? We broke down a little bit on some great shots, but we have to defend better. And so, I know how hard it is to win. And two of their best players played hot, got hot. But you need a spark, and tonight was the initial spark. What we do need, Chris, is we need practice, and to fix these things. And we played on Sunday, had to take Monday off. You practice Tuesday, then you have to have your energy on Wednesday to play Thursday, and you're prepping. And then you play a game, and then you have one day in this league to play the next. Tomorrow will be a day off. We'll be able to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where we can tighten up some things where are situational, where we can be a lot better, especially on the defensive end. But the spark is what we needed, and we got it tonight.
I was going to say, you talked about maybe this being a baby step.
Yeah, baby step.
When you lose the first 3 games by a combined 11 points,
Yeah.
even if it's a baby step, don't you need that win?
You know what? You're so right. Yes. However, listen, it's by any means necessary. You're an older group. If we got to, shoot underhand from half court to win this game, that's what we're going to do. If we have to dive with our elbows, if I got to break my left hand, I will do it. You have to be willing to sacrifice for the betterment of the team to do what it's going to take to get the game, to where you want to get the W. But yes, of course.
I'm also kind of wondering what the residual effects might be when you go 12-22 to now 29-33.
Say that again.
What does that tell you about your team?
Say that again.
When you can go from 12-22 on a Thursday and then go 29-33 on a Saturday.
What you realize in life is sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way, but it's all how you respond, and that's what we kept telling those guys. And this team has been, think about being down at Utah by 11 and going up 15. We've got this what we can put on. We can put, we can go through a burst. We have that ability. Now it goes back to, can we get some consistency where it's not so many highs and lows, and you can kind of iron out the middle part for longer periods of time. But it shows a lot about this team, like Keon's saying, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to dream it. I'm going to go out and I'm going to work at it. I'm going to regain my confidence. That's what you get when you get practice, and that's what we'll do, on Monday when we get back on the court.
Those guys, they had 2 players score 50 of the 72 points. Afterwards you see it and wow, that's a lot. But during the game, are you thinking, only 2 other guys made more than 2 shots? Let somebody else other than those 2.
You can look at it that way, or you can say, let those guys do it so those other guys don't have big numbers. At the end of the day, I felt like when we got it to 12, Jordan Pope is a heck of a player. He made a couple step-back threes where you don't want to foul. We got the layup we fouled, stopped the clock. I don't know what they scored in the last, if you said the last under the 4-minute break. Our defense for the most part was pretty good. We just didn't close out. But in those other games too, I thought, Bilodeau is a heck of a player. He goes inside, he goes outside. I thought we did a decent job. We call it a fire when we double teamed him to get the ball out of his hands. We got burned a couple times, but for the most part, it kept him, I think, a little bit off balance. But sometimes, when you're playing Utah and Brandon Carlson, the best players do what? Contested threes in the post move. There were some breakdowns, but I was fairly happy with our team tonight.
You talked about the team aggressiveness. Was that just part of the scout, or was that just you instilling it in these guys that, hey, we got to get
I think tonight in the scout, I felt like we could pressure the ball. I thought that was a big part of the game. But for the most part, we talked about being disciplined, aggressive. How do you become really aggressive? And that goes back to the scouting report. You're guarding certain guys, they have certain tendencies. Can we get into them? Can they feel us? Can we, it's not just one-on-one defense, it's team defense. You're only good as your weakest link. And so, can we be more consistent? Even in the Oregon game, there were some breakdowns that are, against what our principles are on the defensive end. But it's just like I said, for some reason, we have to clean up some things. I think being more simplistic. We also need Braxton to be able to be a difference. Your pick and roll coverage and man-to-man, you're as good as your big guys because that's who's talking, that's who's basically designating, telling you if you're going to weak or ice or blitz. So that communication becomes really, really important. And, get Paulie back in there. We just work in progress, and, hopefully this spark gives us the confidence that we need to have a couple great practices before we play Arizona State. I'm watching the game like the craziest fan on the planet, Yeah, I'm so excited. It's just, we're going to have our practice. I think they're doing something here, and it's just going to be awesome. I've heard they sold 7,000 tickets here, which is, think about that. I couldn't imagine, being in that arena. I was at the Pac-12 championship game, which was like, you get the chills just thinking about it. When you talk about the dogs, and we've been the underdog, and what's happened every time, we've always come out on top. And it shows the resiliency, and so very inspiring. What am I going to do? I probably need to put this in a cast before, just so get ready. But there's going to be a definite passionate fan, I'm sure, all over the country, but in me watching that game.
Have you reached out to Galen since the Sugar Bowl?
I text him. Yeah. I couldn't imagine the amount. And you know what the unbelievable thing about him? He always responds. I'm like, the day of the game. Like, the guy's amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing. He's, who's done in college football what he's done? It's what you're seeing is, it's just, it's unheard of. Which, and then when that person who's putting that together is the most humble, personable guy, it just, you can see why guys run through the wall for him.